Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I am Rishi Harinanan. C News is live at noon. Topping the news at this time, the Trade Union Federation this morning hand-delivered a letter to the office of the Prime Minister, again requesting an urgent meeting with him. The Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, is currently on vacation. According to the President General of the Joint Trade Union Movement, Ansel Roger, the letter was given to Kurt Francis, Protocol Officer for the Prime Minister, with the assurance it will be delivered to him. According to Mr. Roger, the Union Federation has been trying to meet with the Prime Minister through the Minister of Labour and through verbal communication, but that has failed. Hence, a written request was made.
The letter itself is self-explanatory, but it shows the contempt with which Labour is being treated in Trinidad and Tobago today. But it also is indicating Labour's intention to be collaborative and to meet with those in high office, particularly the Prime Minister, who has the responsibility for the entire government and for governance in Trinidad and Tobago, for us to meet with them to chart a way forward.
Mr. Roger said it should not be business as usual, as he highlighted issues such as crime and the retrenchment of workers as two of the main concerns of the Federation.
The ball is in the court of the Prime Minister. We cannot, at this critical point, if these issues are not addressed, we cannot guarantee stability going forward. The ball is in the court of the Prime Minister.
The Trade Union Federation includes the Joint Trade Union Movement, the National Trade Union Centre, and the Federation of Independent Trade Unions and NGOs. The Cabo Star cargo vessel is now being described as a health hazard. President of the Inter-Island Truckers and Traders Association, Horace Hamid, says for the past 3 weeks, there has been a rodent infestation and the plumbing is not working well.
Yeah, we're having problems. You have mites on the boat, a little insect biting you, you have roaches. You have other rodents running around, the toilet not working, the AC not working, no cabins yet for us, and the cafeteria not working as yet. The water backing up in the face basin is not going down. Well, this has been going on for the past 3 weeks. We're having all those problems, but it now sort of intensified.
Mr. Hamid said truckers have no choice but to use the vessel at this time, but he noted it's in dire need of cleaning.
For about a week and have this vessel irrigated, pick up the carpets and those things, because we could be playing with an epidemic that we're not sure of, because we don't know what type of mites they are, and when you lie down on the carpet and sleep, you could take them home in your blanket or your sponge or anything.
To some other news now, Caribbean Airlines will operate relief flights between Port of Spain, Trinidad and Barbados. This, it said, is to accommodate passengers who would have been affected due to the cancellation of scheduled flights on August 17th and 18th because of inclement weather. Today, BW 3458 Barbados to Port of Spain departs Barbados at 10:35 p.m. Tomorrow, BW 3459 Port of Spain to Barbados departs Port of Spain at 12:30 a.m. Affected customers who were scheduled to travel on August 17, 2017 will be permitted to change or cancel their reservations without penalties subject to conditions. Customers are advised to visit www.caribbeanairlines.com so you can check your flight status before going to the airport or call Caribbean Airlines call centers for further details. Well, just to update you on what's happening in Barbados as a result of Tropical Storm Harvey, the Barbados Met Office has discontinued its tropical storm warning for the island. However, the island remains under a flood warning and citizens have been advised to remain alert and stay indoors. Heavy flooding has been reported in Christchurch and Speytown in St. Peter. The tropical storm warning remains in effect for Martinique, St. Lucia and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, while a tropical storm watch is in effect for Dominica. Moving on to some other news now, Attorney Keith Scotland says he is in support of the move by government to go to the court next week to get an interpretation summons as a means of resolving the 53 part-heard matters left by former Chief Magistrate Marcia Ayers-Caesar. Mr. Scotland has 7 clients who were affected when Mrs. Ayers-Caesar was promoted to High Court judge and later resigned. Hence, he said he is an interested party in the matter. He supports the move because he said it is one approach relative to having these matters resolved.
It is a step that I am attracted to. I'm attracted to a step like that because, and I'll tell you why, so I can give you the reason for my being attracted to it. It seems to be a step that wants to resolve this matter. everybody who is interested will apply to have a stay. I have my own view, and I will express it when the time is come.
As it is, the court is on vacation, and Mr. Scotland hopes the matter will be urgent enough to be heard immediately.
Remember that these 53 persons, these are matters that have started, and some have varying history with varying vintage, and therefore they will need to be resolved expeditiously, and I will tell you why. There are some matters which have actually restarted, and therefore we don't need the application to become more toys. The purpose of this should be to have it resolved in the shortest possible time. Let the court decide it one way or the other, but in the meantime, we always have to remember that the focus should be on getting these cases back on track so people can get justice without too much delay.
This is the C News Live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. Well, Opposition Senator Gerald Ramdeen said the government clearly doesn't know what it's doing when it comes to fixing the problems facing the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. He explained 2 weeks ago a legislative solution was being sought as the Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi wrote to the Law Association for its input on a draft bill to solve the problem. However, on Thursday, the acting AG Stuart Young said government is now seeking interpretation summons from the court. This, according to Mr. Ramdeen, clearly shows the government is confused.
Doesn't know what the left hand is doing, and the head is doing nothing at all. So that is why they end up in this position that every week they change like a 24-hour lizard, and that is what is going on with them. They have no idea of governance. Just imagine, the substantive Attorney General says we are pursuing a legislative solution. The acting Attorney General, the Minister of Everything, says they're going to pursue a judicial solution. What is going to happen next week?
Well, the senator has confirmed he is in possession of 2 sets of documents sent to him from the Office of the Attorney General. The documents were sent on August 4th. The acting Attorney General, Stuart Young, said the documents contained several anti-crime measures government is hoping to get the collaboration of the opposition on. This morning, Mr. Ramdeen said the documents were draft bills which seek to fight crime, but he said they are excessively harsh and severe.
The legislation was provided under the cover of a letter that indicated they look forward to my assistance in this matter. And I am not the legal advisor to the government. If the government doesn't know how to pass legislation and bring proper legislation to the country and to the parliament, then get out of office and let the UNC get into office and run the country. The leader of the opposition will chart the way as to how we engage the government with that process and how we deal with these pieces of legislation.
Mr. Ramdeen said the opposition is willing to support legislation which is in the best interest of the country. He cited the trial by judge alone bill. However, he said legislation to fight crime may not be the best way to go right now.
December of last year, when the opposition met with the government, we had suggested a number of things that had to be done, and to use the words of the leader of the opposition, there are a few low-hanging fruit that the government can work on. The Forensic Science Center, weeding out corruption from the police service, the DNA legislation. There are a number of things that needs to be done right away that the government can easily fix.
Now for the local weather forecast. Showers at times heavy will interrupt sunny conditions in varying localities this afternoon. Thunder showers are likely in a few areas towards late afternoon. Patchy cloudiness is expected tonight with showers occurring in a few areas. Seas normal but rough in the windwards. Waves 2 meters but up to 3 meters in the windwards in open waters. Below 1 meter in sheltered areas. Students should be able to obtain their CSEC and CAPE results on their mobile phones via the CXC app today. On August 14, CXC said the May-June examination results will be released to candidates online at 10 p.m. The Minister of Education, Anthony Garcia, said they have noticed an improvement in the performance of students.
In 2016, we had 94.6% of our students achieving acceptable grades, that is, between grades 1 to 5 in Unit 1. In 2017, we have 95.06% of students achieving acceptable grades, that is 1 to 5.
In addition to that, he said of the 33 subjects that were written by students, they found that in 25 of them, students scored 90% and above. Well, this morning, the Ministry of Education held a press conference and gave more figures on the CSEC and CAPE results. You can stay with us throughout the afternoon for more on that. For some other news now, the Ministry of Tourism says it has put measures in place for provisional arrangements for the management of the tourism sector. On Monday, the Tourism Development Company was officially closed. The ministry said in the interim it will manage the following portfolios: tourism investment and incentives, cruise passenger visitor services, airport visitor information services, sites and attractions. In March 2017, government renewed its commitment to boost the tourism sector as part of the country's diversification thrust. The cabinet made a decision to create 3 separate entities to drive the local tourism sector forward. 1, the Tourism Trinidad Destination Management Company Limited, 2, the Tobago Tourism Agency, and 3, Trinidad and Tobago Tourism Regulatory and Licensing Authority. The visa section of the High Commission of Canada to Trinidad and Tobago has made changes to the method of payment. It says with immediate effect, processing fees for all applications submitted to the visa section and the visa application center can only be paid online. Also effective immediately, payments at Scotiabank are discontinued and Scotiabank receipts or bank drafts will be accepted only until the 29th of September 2017. Well, be on the lookout for the spread of red eye. This from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, which said several Caribbean islands have reported outbreaks of conjunctivitis at health facilities and medical practices. But what exactly is red eye? Here's Marie Hull to tell us.
The Caribbean Public Health Agency, CAPE, is urging citizens to protect themselves against the spread of the disease commonly known as red eye, scientifically known as conjunctivitis. This refers to inflammation of the membrane covering the white of the eyes and the inside of the eyelids. The congestion of blood vessels in this membrane gives rise to the reddening appearance and explains the more common names red eye or pink eye. But what are some of the causes of this disease? Viruses, bacteria, and allergens. Viral and bacterial conjunctivitis are very contagious and can spread easily from patient to patient. The eye symptoms can include redness, irritation, itchiness, production of excessive tears, clear or yellow discharge that may make eyelids stick together, especially on mornings, and the swelling of the eyelid. Here are some tips to prevent the spread of the disease. Avoid close contact with anyone ill with conjunctivitis symptoms. Keep unwashed hands away from your face and eyes. Wash your hands often with soap and warm water. Avoid sharing personal items such as pillows, washcloths, towels, eye drops, eye makeup, face makeup, makeup brushes, contact lenses, and contact containers or eyeglasses. If you are infected, wash hands well before and after cleaning or applying eye drops or ointment to your infected eye. CAPE says it's currently monitoring the situation and calls on people to take the necessary precautions to prevent and reduce the spread of this illness. Marie Hall, C News.
Well, the borough of Point Fortin will today honor track athletes Marcia Ayers-Caesar and Dream Richards. Ayers-Caesar and Richards were part of this country's 4x4 gold medal relay team at the just concluded IAAF World Championships in London, with Richards also winning bronze in the men's 200 meters. Mayor of Point Fortin, Abdon Mason, announced the people of the borough will get an opportunity to officially say thanks to their heroes from 1 p.m. today.
We're hitting the streets of Point Fortin, where we give the people of Point Fortin an opportunity to celebrate with these individuals and to actually acknowledge their accomplishments. At 3 p.m. tomorrow at Victor Chinkitt Park, we'll be presenting the keys to the borough to these individuals. As you would recognize, Dream is here, Marshall isn't, but Marshall Dad is representing him.
Well, back to some cricket now. Kesrick Williams defended 7 of the final over in a dramatic finish that saw Jamaica Tallawahs steal a 2-run win from the Guyana Amazon Warriors last night. With 3 runs needed off the last ball, Roshan Primus, facing his first ball, skied a slower ball to deep mid-wicket to deflate the home team fans at a packed Providence Stadium. This win for Tallawahs takes them to 2nd position in the team standings. Trinbago Knight Riders has already qualified for the playoffs. St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots are at number 3 and Barbados Tridents at number 4. More good news for the national football team as 3 seasoned campaigners have made themselves available ahead of the Jamaican clash on August 24th. It's good news for Dennis Lawrence, who is the coach, who welcomes back Cordell Cato, who is back in the TTFA's good graces.
Yeah, Cordell, as I said before, Cordell phoned me, we had a conversation. Cordell understands the position that, you know, what I'm expecting of him. I think what happened is behind us now, and as I said before, the door was never closed to him. We had a good conversation, and Cordell is going to be here. He's going to be here as part of the group, and he's going to try and help us to achieve what we're going to accomplish.
The coach also indicated that a couple other players will be joining the training sessions to help bolster the squad, which is also missing a few players who are carrying slight niggles.
I think the Jamaica game is going to be a fantastic test for the boys because Jamaica did really, really well in the Gold Cup. They're going to come here obviously on a high. We're looking forward to the game. It's going to be good for the local players. We've managed to acquire the services of a couple of the foreign players. The main reason for that was because the fact that they're not playing with the clubs. So I think it's important that we try and get them some match time before the Honduras game. So I think we've got 3 players confirmed to arrive, which is Cordell Cato, Aubrey David, and Mikel Williams. They will arrive sometime during the week. And the preparation goes on. The boys are in good spirit, and we're looking forward to it.
Lawrence also expressed his delight with some of the new faces in the squad, especially the younger ones who are part of the future.
I think the idea is to integrate the young boys as quick as possible. We've got 4 of them here with us. They've been all doing very well in the training, they're all out of place. The idea is to try and get them some game time as quick as possible, whether it's going to be the Jamaica game. I'm not 100% sure yet, but the idea is to try and get them the international debuts as quick as possible.
But while the players and coaches are doing their bit on the field and preparing as best as they can ahead of the Jamaica friendly and the 2 crucial World Cup qualifiers to follow in early September, the fans are being encouraged to do their part. Already the matches have been shifted from the Hasely Crawford Stadium to the more cozy Atto Bolden, hoping to not only get a larger following, but to also create a bit of a hostile environment for visiting teams.
I think people just need to understand the reason why we moved the game to the Atto Bolden Stadium is basically to try and create an atmosphere. If you look at the history of the 2 games we had at home, which was in Panama and in Mexico, I thought it was it didn't have the atmosphere that we were looking for. So the idea is to put the game in a smaller environment so we can try and build a good crowd and create an atmosphere that would help us to try and get the result that we want. So that was the idea behind it.
Like TNT, the Jamaicans will be fielding mostly home-based players, some of whom starred with the national squad at the recent Gold Cup.
Well, in some netball news now, and it's good news for the region and Trinidad and Tobago in particular, as the Caribbean Championships are back on. The championships were postponed indefinitely last week, leaving a country like TNT without any chance of improving on their international rankings. But now, the tournament, which was originally set for St. Lucia from August 17th through 27th, is set to be played in October of this year instead. The Caribbean Federation announced the new start date as October 8th. Well, that's it for sport. Well, that's how we end the C News report at noon. I'm Rishi Harinanan. And remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, visit our website at ctvtt.com. Have a good afternoon.